Facing a tiger is a very scary and difficult task, but fighting a tiger with bare arms is even an impossible task of which only special people can pull off. Even Samson could dare a lion, but nobody knows what could happen if it was a tiger. But this girl here is a fighter.
Yes, oh yes.
Sasa nikikimbia katika barabara, karibu sasa nigongwe na trailer. Hapo ndio sasa nilivuka barabara, hapo ndio nilipatana na chui.
Once upon a time, in the middle of the night, she did meet a tiger and she fought it. Then the villain man came over and wanted to rape her, but she refused. Only that she has been regretting it ever since.
Niwanga na regret sana. Kwa nini sikukubali huo dereva ama hao wenye walikuwa hapo kwa roli wafanye hivyo walikuwa wanataka, sababu ningekubali sahi singekuwa napitia hizi changamoto.
What made this girl half blessed, and why doesn't she like truck driving? In this extraordinary story, we are talking to Irene Mbite Wambua, an exceptionally resilient girl who has seen quite a lot at just 24 years old, but whose house, as you can see here, doesn't prove it.
Kwa majina naitwa Irene Mbite kutoka Machakos.
She is the firstborn of her 5 other siblings, and she is a hard-working girl who was determined to help her single mother raise her young sisters and brothers. It was in the early hours of one morning when a close friend of Irene slipped into her blanket with exciting news, whispering in her right ear that she had found her librarian job in Nairobi City, and the two friends had very little time to pack their bags before leaving. It was a modest job for Irene, who had wished to grab a high-paying job to accommodate all her many needs. But the offer was quite enough to risk it all, since she had been unemployed for quite a while, and to make matters worse, her mother had been unemployed as well, which meant that putting food on the table for his huge family was a very big problem. The two girls from Machakos town took a 63-kilometer journey heading to northwest to Nairobi City. But upon reaching their final destination, suddenly there was no job for Irene.
Tukaenda Nairobi.
When we reached Nairobi, my job position was already filled with another new employee who was doing what I was supposed to be doing. As Irene was getting worried, an abrupt offer showed up as a residential home nearby accepted to give her housemaid job, which she quickly accepted. But the owner of the house demanded that Irene show her ID card, of which she had not traveled with, perhaps because of that rush preparation which prompted her to forget it.
Sasa hapo mimi sikuwa na ID.
I didn't come with my ID card, and I dealt with my boss to allow me to return back home and bring it, and they agreed to my offer so quickly. But getting back to Machakos from Nairobi wasn't an easy task. Irene had thought to have some money left in her pocket, but there was none. She walked by foot while pleading with the truck drivers to give her a lift, but her plea was ignored. The tiring journey under the scorching sun of Nairobi was too much for Irene, and she decided to take some time to rest before resuming her long journey. That's how she met a young man who helped her to find a truck which would give her a lift to her home time. But the lift was not so innocent, as the two men in the truck had other plans.
Wanaume walikuwa wawili kwa gari.
There were 2 men in the truck. One man left us, and the remaining one started to ask me if I was married. He told me he wanted to take me to Mombasa, but I refused and asked him to leave me there. Instead of going some 63 kilometers towards Machakos, the truck driver took some 485 kilometers to Mombasa, in which Irene was asleep after drinking to the water she was given by the truck driver.
Mimi nililala, kesho yake ndio nikajipata Mombasa.
As the driver was still figuring out how to take Irene out, she finally woke up and screamed. The driver got afraid and left her to avoid more troubles. Then Irene had someone who speaks her local language known as Kikamba, and she joined him to ask for help. He was a young man. I approached him and explained what happened to me, and he promised to help me. We left the public area and approached an old woman to explain my issue. She asked me a lot of questions, wondering why I didn't ask for the ticket from my mom. As the frightened and tired Irene was struggling to explain herself, an old man with an old truck showed up and claimed to be going exactly to Machakos, a town Irene was heading to. She climbed the truck in belief that her misery was finally coming to an end. But it was just the beginning, as the men inside an old truck started to seduce this girl, who sat timidly between them. But she backed them off, only to raise their anger as they stopped talking to her throughout the journey. By then, it was around 11 p.m. Under the thick darkness of the night, with no lights on the roadside whatsoever, the two men behind the wheels went out of the truck and argued with another man for an hour. And when they came back, their mood was aggressive. When they came back into the truck, one man started to unzip his jeans, and I asked him what he was trying to do. He replied nothing. The two men tried to entice her to sleep with them, but she resisted and screamed loud as their truck gradually approached a police car which was parking on the side of the road. The two men fumed and decided to leave Irene on the roadside to fend for herself. The driver parked on the roadside and stepped out of the truck. He then called me and asked me to get out. I stepped out and they threw my bag to me. I ran towards the police car. It was like 3 kilometers back. As I was fleeing from the over-illumination of the coming car, going to the far side of the road, a tiger grabbed me by my left arm and pulled me deeper into the bushes. As I was screaming so vehemently, I was tired from all my journeys and I couldn't fight the tiger properly. Luckily, another man who was passing by saw the incident and rushed to report to the policemen, who rushed back to help, and their horns frightened the tiger, which left Irene unconsciously lying down. The police came over and took me to the hospital, but her left arm was so damaged from bitterful bites of the tiger. Left arm was cut. After 3 months, she was returned home, but her life had changed permanently ever since. The tiger did not just damage her arm, but her left eye doesn't work as well, together with her left side of the face, which is also damaged. Irene's medical bills are piling up every single day. She is supposed to visit the hospital twice or thrice a week, but affording a ticket to Nairobi isn't an easy task, given that she's unemployed together with her mom and her other siblings. Meanwhile, her condition is worsening, especially her arm, which is constantly swelling at an alarming rate, as you can see here. It's a heartbreaking experience for this brave girl who is yet to figure out how to respond to this problem, and she is afraid that she may completely run out of options very soon. I don't have the means to pay for my medical bills. Whenever I go to the hospital, they have to examine me and I can't afford to pay the bills. Since I can't afford to go to the hospital, I'm resorting to using painkillers. I can barely sleep because of the pain I feel, and I have other problems like my stomach and heart. I'm always stressed out. I can't afford it. My mom can't afford it, and she's taking care of 6 children as well, which is incredibly tough for her.
Asa hata nashindwa ndarudi niende wapi. Yeah.
This is a small house Irene lives in. It is so small she can barely fit in well, and you can see that she doesn't actually have enough materials to occupy a big space. The sad part is that she is struggling to pay her rent, and sometimes she gets kicked out of the house. This tough life with no help has made this beautiful girl depressed, and she sometimes regrets not engaging in sleep with truck drivers, as she believes it could have averted her fight with the tiger.
Mi wanga na regret sana kwa nini sikukubali huo dereva ama hao wenye walikuwa hapo kwa roli wafanye vile walikuwa wanataka, sababu
sometimes I regret the reason I didn't allow the truck drivers to do what they wanted, because if I had agreed, I wouldn't be going through all these problems. Whenever I remember it, I regret it so much. If I agreed, I wouldn't be like this, given that the problem I'm dealing with is now much worse than what I should be dealing with. Should I have allowed them to do what they wanted? I'm afraid to go out and meet people. I mostly stay at home. Sometimes I hate myself and feel like living is meaningless. Despite her serious challenges, Irene is determined to keep going, and she has always had a passion for beauty and makeups. And she feels like if she can find a job or a capital, she can happily join the workforce and make some money, as she never wishes to sit on the roadside begging.
Najua hapo nje kuna watu wengi wako na roho ya utu, na najua watanisaidia sana.
She has made a plan, and it would take her some 5,000 USD to fully start her own business. She would also like to get proper medical care in order to recover and get back to normal life. If you wish to help her, donations are collected through the Giving Life link in the description of this story and above in the first comment.
Nimetafuta kwa miaka 2 ndio nikapata. Sasa tangu tuanze kuongea hatujamaliza wiki 2, na kushukuru sana. Nimetafuta kwa miaka 2 sababu naonanga watu wengi hizo video watu wanasaidika na mna follow up hadi mnaona kama ni mgonjwa amesaidika kabisa, mtu ako na tatizo yote amesaidika.
Thanks for watching. This is Afrimax English. Please remember to subscribe.